This is the M1 iPad Pro. Let's unbox it and check it out. You got two speakers on the top and the power button. On the side you got the volume button and the magnetic connector for the Apple Pencil, which you will wireless charge it. You got two more speakers at the bottom and the Thunderbolt port, and it has a total of 5 studio quality mics. If you get the cellular version, then you'll have a SIM card tray. Now I'm just gonna set up this device. The new iPad Pro has a liquid retina XDR display, which also has ProMotion. This thing has over 10,000 Milli LEDs, which are grouped into more than 2,500 local dimming zones. The brightness goes up to 1600 nits. The previous iPad went up to 600 nits, so that's a huge upgrade from the last generation. Now this has support for Thunderbolt 3 and USB 4, which means it is 4 times faster than and gets a very fast data transfer speed, and you will also be able to connect an external display up to 6K. Now the camera on this thing has a feature called center stage, which what it does is actually track you around when you're doing video calls, and if another person comes into the frame, the AI will be able to recognize it and it's gonna zoom out. And it's not just for FaceTime. Third-party apps will also be able to access this feature. And you got two cameras in the back, one of which is a 12 megapixel camera and a 10 megapixel ultra wide camera, and you can record 4K video. So the most special feature of this iPad is that it has the M1 chip inside, which is the same thing, which are in the MacBooks. So this tab is pretty powerful and not exactly the same. I mean, the MacBooks have better cooling and stuff. The base model has 8 gigs of RAM and the top end model has 16 gigs of RAM. There is an 11-inch and a 12-inch display version, and storage goes up to 2 terabytes. Now there is no difference between the 16 gigs of RAM and the 8 gigs of RAM because the iOS apps limit them to 5 gigs of RAM, so it's kind of useless. Now people were thinking that this was going to be the perfect laptop replacement because they're so powerful and have the M1 chip, but the iOS software is so limiting that they didn't want to change, and they waited till iPadOS 15 and there were no big changes. Apple doesn't want us to use this iPad Pro as a Mac replacement. The proof of that is from the update where they showed off this thing called the universal control, which you can switch the cursor from your Mac to your iPad and then even to your iMac, and then just scroll and just drag and drop stuff from the Mac to the iPad. Like all of the things which you can do on this iPad, you could also do on the 2018 iPad, like the keyboard and the notes with the same iPad OS. Now this is still a great iPad with lots of features, and if you are looking for a machine, like if you are looking for some sort of laptop, I'd say look for a laptop. This is not the perfect laptop replacement. And if you are looking for an iPad, you should check out the iPad Mini or the iPad Air, which are also pretty powerful.